Yeah, baby.
Whee!
Yes.
I've had a whole yerba mate today, so I am highly caffeinated.
I think it's great.
Those things are juicy spicy, and they will get you because they're so light and refreshing. They're kind of like frat boy party drinks where you have one and you're like, this is nothing. And then like an hour later, you're like, I gotta go home, you know?
Well, yeah, because those cans of it that you drank are, I think those are more than one serving, but you have a can, everyone drinks them as one serving. Like, what are you going to do with it?
They're like 3 servings. I don't know. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Someplace Underneath. I'm Amber Nelson.
I am Natalie Jean.
We've got a lot to talk about today.
I should have probably also had yerba mate because I'm
But you're tired?
sluggish.
Do you want some of my my energy juice?
Yeah, can you sort of like Reiki at me?
I've been doing workouts in the morning, like a very Suzanne Summer, sort of like with armbands on like a stepper, and I love it.
Airbands are great.
I think it's great. I know everybody's like, you're not working out unless you sweat. But what if I just did 30 minutes of just some fun little stretches?
Anybody who would say that's not a workout is just drinking some red pill Flavorade.
Well, there was a guy in college, because I did a lot of physical like acting stuff, and he worked with Cirque du Soleil, and he was one of our teachers, and he said, if you do half an hour on the treadmill, that is nothing. You got to go to 45 minutes because that's golden time, and only an hour on the treadmill will do. And I'm like, oh, it's like thoughts like this that make people not want to work out.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to say. I don't know why he would. That's if he's. I guess if you were training for the circus, maybe.
Maybe, but you have to like also work up to that. This is also why people don't fuck with like working, like not even like physical stuff, which you should do.
You do 10 minutes. It's still good for you.
Well, you need to take the stairs. You do great.
It's true. I also, as a dancer, as like a ballet dancer, would get really bad athletic advice from people who are supposed to be my teachers.
Yeah.
You know, they would say like terrible things.
Right. Like have sex with me.
Yeah, and they're like, it burns calories. And I'm like, I don't know. Are you sure? You need to be skinnier, so we have to have sex.
Right.
What were you saying?
I don't know.
Oh,
so much.
Amber, you're glowing.
I'm glowing?
Purling proletariat says.
A new skincare routine, and I haven't been drinking. I drink alcohol now maybe once or twice a week, and I said, I'm going to spend the money that I would have spent on booze on a good skincare routine, and I think it's paying off.
You'd put vodka now on your face.
That's right.
Just dunk it into a bucket.
Oh, like those old school actresses with the big like ice bucket. And just vodka.
Yeah, if you do the old school actress routine, I think it's like uppers at 6 a.m. Downers at lunchtime. Uppers back up again. Right. More downers to relax.
Mandated abortion at 3 p.m.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
I had to turn off Amber's stand-up audio post on Patreon because I saw this was live. We'll finish later. Thank you, Floral Regulations.
Thanks for watching. I did stand-up recently again. And you know what? I kind of turned off doing stand-up for a while because my act wasn't who I was. I'm not like some drunk 25-year-old anymore. I'm a skincare workoutaholic woman. So I had to like take some time off and like see who I am. And I think I'm, knock on wood, I kind of like a direction I'm going, and I'm going to do it.
I'm excited. Your stand-up's always great, but I love that you're trying new things. That's cool.
It's good to try new things. Otherwise, you're going to be doing the same fucking jokes for years, and no one wants that.
Whoa. That's not stand-up. That's Joey from Blossom. That's not. I was trying to come up with somebody's catchphrase.
Yeah, what is some catchphrases here?
What's the deal?
What's the deal? Or what's the get her done?
Get her done. Then what was the Jeff Foxworthy one?
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck. Thank you, James.
Right. You know, you got to grow.
You got to grow. You
Perhaps you're a redneck. Thank you. It's
perchance. Are you a hill person? That's how I change. Yep. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm actually having a wonderful time. I started my period on Monday, and then I was feeling really bad, so I made this soup, and it's the best soup I've ever made, Natalie, and I feel very grounded. And I would say if you're feeling ungrounded and cloudy in the head, eat root vegetables.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that just something you came up with?
Me and my roommate just rolling around on our periods crying, saying, I think the root vegetables helped.
What kind of roots?
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah, sweet potatoes are great.
Yeah.
Actually, that probably would be helpful on your period because I think it has
Cyanide? That's
Yes.
right. Kill me.
Yes, it's got poison in it.
That's right. Speaking of which, tampons have lead in them.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were going to talk about that today. I didn't do any research on that. So we just are going to say it with authority.
Yeah, they do. They have lead and they have bleach and shit.
I believe. Well, bleachers, I think we know already, right? Because they're white.
Yeah, they're white.
It's probably not good. But is it a brand of tampons? Is it all tampons?
They won't say which ones because they don't want a lawsuit. The journalists, I mean. The journalists don't want a lawsuit on their hands, so they won't say which one. I switched to pads. Thank you for tuning in to Someplace Underneath. We're going to talk about our periods for a long time.
Switch to pads?
I actually like it. I like it. I want the blood out of me. Goo. I want to feel it goo. You know, when you can feel like a
Like
plop.
Congealing? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like plop out of
And
my...
you sneeze and it comes out in like a big... Yep.
This is fun. I feel like all the guys are tuning out.
You stay and you listen.
You stay and you listen.
That's how you were born.
What if we did one for you, one for me? And I'm like, all right, so one for you. So the Steelers, they're doing great.
Are they?
Yeah, they scored a big one, Natalie.
I don't know if football's happening currently, but I'm glad you thought of my hometown's team.
Oh,
first.
speaking of your hometown, Natalie lives next to a celebrity.
Oh, no. Not a celebrity. I want to preface all of this by saying we do not condone violence of any sort towards any person. I don't want anyone shot ever.
No, never. And honestly, if he would have been shot, it would have been like a really bad time.
It would have been awful.
Awful. I don't condone any of this.
No.
Yeah.
I no matter what the decision-making process was, nothing good would have come from it for anyone. I mean, it's not like if you're on the progressive side of things, that would have like made your life better or would have been bad.
No, it would have been bad. And that was the night I did stand-up, and they were like, be it people that were not funny were joking about it. And I was like, you're not even making a joke.
Yeah.
Boo on you.
Yeah, and we all heard about the unfortunate Tenacious D situation. That sucks.
What happened with them?
Oh, Kyle made a naughty joke on stage. And it is understandable to me because he said a thing that it sucks because I think he just said it off the cuff on the top of his head. He said a thing that was like vaguely suggesting maybe be violent. Like it was like something he didn't mean it, but if you're on stage in the middle of like all of this turmoil.
Yeah.
And so Jack Black walked off stage and he canceled their entire tour. Yeah.
I mean, I say stuff off the cuff all the time, so I understand saying the wrong thing, but I also don't condone violence, and I don't want to. This is like, I love free speech, but this is the theater's on fire. You know what I mean? This is the line.
Yeah, totally. Free speech. Free speech for all, except if it's like hurting.
Yeah, unless it's
that wasn't a sentence.
or just like causing chaos. Yeah.
Ridage Prop. By the way, the DC Abortion Fund is running out of money because they provide care to so many out-of-towners and donations have decreased. Please donate. Okay, great to know. DC Abortion Fund.
Thank you for saying that.
Guess people are traveling.
But so your family was next to the guy's house, and you said that you drove by it all the time. So it's not a psyop. Yeah,
it's such a weird experience. I'm not going to talk about this too long. This is sort of just like anecdotal information about that whole thing. But of course, as soon as that shooting happened, people were coming up with insane theories and just like, oh, it's this, it's a Russian, it's from Iran, it's a psyop, it's da da da.
This is one of my few times I don't believe in the conspiracy theory. I think this guy, as Natalie said, was black-pilled and probably just thought it was funny or just like, I guess, just had no forethought, no tomorrow thinking.
That's personally my thought on it. I don't think that anybody's ever going to, I don't think anybody so far, they have obviously gone through all of the kids' devices and stuff, and there's nothing really to say he had any intention on anything. It was like not a political ideation.
He was just crazy. He was just a crazy dumbass fucking
I wouldn't even give him crazy. I feel it is more that he was black. My guess is that he was black-pilled and he just thought that he was going to do it for the lulz. That was my take on it. But he actually went to my high school. Obviously not the same time. I think he wasn't born when I went there. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And then he also actually went to the same community college as me. And without disclosing very much information about my family, I have many family members who live extremely close to that house. Like, I've passed that house hundreds of times. My best friend in high school lived 2 blocks away from it. And it's really interesting to watch this from a perspective of knowing the area and like understanding it concretely as a place. And like, that house is there. I know that kid isn't like flown in from, like, I know he has a footprint at my high school.
Right.
And it's
almost crazier that this isn't a conspiracy. It's kind of like the movie Clockwork Orange. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Stanley Kubrick saying sometimes violence happens just because it's violence. There's no rhyme or reason, and that's scarier.
Yeah, and the author, I believe, is Anthony Burgess of the book, but I love both of them. They're hard to watch, but yeah, I'll think... I'll
never see that movie again, but yeah, hard to watch.
I'm glad you saw it at least once, because I love a Kubrick movie.
Right.
But that's my take on it. Also, there wasn't a direct path, and you can't say he was doing this for one side or the other, and his family was every single kind of political party. They had Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians living in that house, and they had MAGA stuff on their lawn up until very recently. And I don't know, that area, if anybody's curious, it kind of is, I always think of it as the difference between rural Pennsylvania. It's like on one side is rural Pennsylvania, like Appalachia, like banjos. On the other side is influential, affluential, rich suburbs of Pittsburgh, and then it's Pittsburgh. So Bethel is in between affluent suburbs and, Hicksville.
That's almost worse, because now you can see how the rich really live. But if you're like deep in the mountains, you don't really come out a lot to see how the affluent folks would handle it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Bethel's by no means impoverished, but it's working class, and my experiences always were there. And I know as far back as my little brother, who still graduated like 10 years ago, it's not a pleasant place to be. It is almost exclusively white. It's very cruel there. I'm not saying this is why he did it.
Didn't they like throw stuff at you, Natalie?
Oh yeah, I was violently attacked by dudes several times, who they don't like people to kind of differentiate from the exact prototype kid.
Is it crab bucket mentality? Because that's very real.
What's crab bucket mentality?
It's when one person is like doing better or kind of escaping the system, and then everyone else is like, nope, and they pull them back down.
Oh, interesting. I don't know that term.
Yeah.
Is it that's what
real.
crabs do?
Yeah, they do. When you like look at crabs in a bucket, there's always one that kind of tries to escape, and they just pull them back down.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I was climbing upward out of there, but I was climbing at least sideways away from. I was doing crab like this. I don't like you. I had a very bad experience growing up there generally, but it's a mean place, and I had no way to describe it at the time, but now it's like, oh, this was MAGA country before it was MAGA country.
Right.
Very angry white people. But I'm not saying that has anything to do with what he did or why he did it, but that is just if you're ever interested on what that area is.
Maybe you got radicalized by the internet, someone says.
Yeah, definitely radicalized by the internet. Also, his family was really into guns. He was a sharpshooter, not a sharpshooter. He was the opposite. I think he was constantly made fun of for not being able to aim. But his dad liked guns, and he was actually their family was targeted by the Trump campaign in 2016 because they thought they were like in the top percentile of people they thought would vote for Trump in that area.
Oh,
it's just interesting little fact there.
Wow. Well, I'm very sorry for the person, because there was a person that was killed, and I'm very sorry for them and their family.
Yeah, no, obviously I don't agree with probably anybody's politics in that rally.
I don't want them to die.
But I don't want people shot anywhere ever. I don't think that it would solve anything, and you're just kind of being a little turd like that kid if you want that sort of thing to happen. So.
Bitty shit turd kid.
Yeah, I mean, not to be like a dick, but That kid probably had a rough time walking around with that face, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, really ugly Habsburg jaw. I will say, something to relate to that. So I had to unfollow somebody today because he was like, some fucking guy. I don't know why I followed him, but he had a picture of the two women that were helping like the Secret Service for Trump, and they had guns, and it's something like the meme was, we'll blame it on the patriarchy. And I wanted to be like, computer enhance. There's men there. Like you found the two women.
Wait, dehance
or whatever. You found the two women involved, and you're going to pin the whole thing on them. And didn't you say like all these other...
Yeah, all the right-wing talking heads are all doing that. I think Matt Walsh and all those guys, like Daily Wire people, were all...
stupid.
Talking about how I think it was Matt Walsh who said it was disgraceful that a Secret Service woman existed, like kind of alluding to somehow it was her fault, even though that woman stood in front of that wonderful ex-president we have, shielding him with her body, and somehow this entire situation was this because they had a woman Secret Service agent there with hundreds of men also on police and people all around. I think maybe one of the big problems of doing what he does as far as all of the pep rallies, he's literally done that exclusively for 10 years. Like even when he was running the country, technically, he was still doing these rallies. And if you're doing them over and over and over again, it's going to get lax. Stuff's going to not be paid attention to as much because eventually people are just not going to be paying as much attention. And that kid got up on a roof with like a few people even like pointing at him, being like, there's a guy up there. He still got shots off on the dude. So
pinning off on two women. People are angry. I feel like we're living in a Weimar Republic right now with like there's a lot of rights we have, but the economy is not very good. So what people are going to do is they're going to blame all the people that got the new rights and take those down.
Blanca the Ferris, they fat shamed her too. I didn't even see that. Jesus.
They fat shamed her? I mean, like, what are we doing here? Like, how much?
It's just crazy. Like, I know that they're doing it for rage bait. I know that they want us to just be outraged at what they're saying, but it's just so funny that in all of this situation that happened, they're going to go to that being like, oh, that woman who helped save him from further gunshots. She's definitely the problem here. If that had been a guy Secret Service, none of this would have happened, right? Just that one was changed to a guy.
They would have found a way to find a woman in the chain. They're angry guys, and they want attention from people like us.
Yeah, and we're giving it to them, but what are you going to do?
I refuse. I've got off of Twitter a long time ago.
Yeah, we did. We both did. I love it. I'm very happy to not be.
Natalie, get those voices out of my head. Ignore them.
Yeah, fuck them.
For a long time, I was like, no, I need to know what they're thinking. I don't need to know what they're thinking. I was raised in that cult.
Yeah, you already know what they're thinking. You already know. You can write the tweets for them, really.
I could.
But please don't.
No. I hope they're peddling their wages. All right, what's the next story?
Redodge. Am I saying that right? Redag prop? Red Age?
Red Age would be my guess.
Yeah.
Somebody phonetically say that for me, please. He got kicked out of the rifle club because he was so bad. Yeah, so he wanted to be in the rifle club at my high school.
There's a rifle club in high school?
Well,
at school, there's a shooter. They train you to be a school shooter.
Well, yeah, he used to wear hunting gear to club. So again, this is right in between country and suburbs. So it is a hunting area. It's like pretty... I'm trying not to say the words white trash, but there's a lot of that vibe there. There's a lot of like deer hunting and stuff around.
Good old boys,
but northern. Because good old boys, I feel like are southern.
You can have southern all over the world, Natalie.
Oh yeah, no, they're northern and southerners for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't, Red Age prop. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Red Age prop. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of weirdness to experience, to just be like, oh, wow, the ex-president was shot. Oh, it was a kid that lives down the street from where I grew up. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a psyop. The scary thing is sometimes people do that.
Unless I'm the psyop, which is what Tirzo said to me earlier. Yeah, I'm the psyop. So, okay, I'm asking this question now. Are people interested in Kevin Franke and or Stefan Sterns? Because I can talk about them I could write a paper on either of them at this point, and we keep getting updates, and I do want to talk about them, but I don't know if people don't want to hear about it or not.
I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear whatever you want to talk about, Natalie, because you're very charming and intelligent.
Poop. Poop.
Talk about poop. I poop on my period, tell you what.
Isn't that sort of, I mean, I get like cramps, it makes everything happen.
Yeah.
My period cramps.
I get like a full blown, my body's numb.
You get your body's numb?
I mean, we make it work, I make do. Country girls make do, but you know.
How?
I get up and I go.
Do you just wrap yourself one of those sumo wrestler things and just kind of roll around?
God, I'm just a little slower. I don't know how I used to bartend. I used to full on bartend with no bar back. So like stocking the beer, stocking the ice, lifting the margarita mix, up a ladder, like all on my period. And like, you can't complain or be slow. We got to get the restaurant open. I don't know how.
Would you have worn a pad?
Then, no, I don't think I could.
I feel like I would be so distracted by it.
Yeah, just like feeling my blood gush out while I'm on a ladder and like everyone can see and point, and I don't have an extra pair of pants to change into, and every time I turn around and
they go, ha 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 ha.
Shame her for her.
Shame her. Put her in the tent. Get her away from the others.
Yeah.
I really want to get to trying the Diva Cup, but I haven't done it yet.
I don't know. I just feel like I want it out of me. Like I don't want it to be held in my body.
I get that for sure.
Not that it's like poisonous because it's a part of your body, but I feel like it's meant to just flush out. And also that period underwear, because I made
Oh, wasn't that also a big problem?
That's also a big thing.
What happened to it? Was it also lead?
It's also some bullshit. So the period panties also no me gusta.
Unless somebody knows of a company, because I think like, what were they called? Thinks?
I had some Thinks for a long time, and they're bad.
And then something happened to them, and they said no.
I think they used to be like, the material was used to go to space or something.
I mean, let's just go with that. Who
wants to know about
PFAS?
Period underwear.
All right, period underwear PFAS. We obviously did not do research beforehand on this.
No, I just thought I would go fly into this, but yeah, because we have
they sent Missy Elliott's music on period panties into outer space. Because I don't know if you guys saw that, but they sent her song "Rain" up there. I love Missy. Right. I love Missy. I'm so happy. I think
the last one was the Beatles.
Ugh.
It's time to send a new artist.
I'm a Beatles hater. I'm sorry, everybody.
I'm not really. The Beatles are fine. The only thing I really know about the Beatles is in college. Did
I hear an audible gasp behind the
Tearzo loves the Beatles.
I'm sorry. I know no one likes it.
I know they're fine, whatever. In my dorm, you know how you get paired with a random person? So this girl, she was kind of boring or whatever, and then one day she comes in with a baby bump, and then I don't want to ask because that's not my position, but we'll just continue, and then we just kept going through the semester, and it gets bigger, 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 and she just keeps talking about the Beatles, and like one night we were just up late one night, and then she kept talking about how like Paul McCartney and all this stuff, and then I wanted to be like, so what's up with this baby? But then she just left the next day, and I never saw her. I think she gave birth. I don't know, but that's all I know about the Beatles is some pregnant girl that would not tell me.
And when you brought up the baby, and then she just left.
I didn't say it. I was just thinking like, what about this fucking baby that's about to pop? Because it would have been like months and months and months, and I don't know where she is. Best of luck. I don't know who you are.
That baby would technically be an adult now.
Damn. Well, if you're listening to this, and if your mom went to college at LSU in 2000 something, I don't remember her time.
Man, that is a wild.
Can you imagine if I just came into work at LPN and just had a fucking rockin' baby and then like didn't bring it up?
Because you're not really supposed to, you know? Like, I get why you didn't bring it up, but it's just really crazy to never mention it at all, and you're living in a room with her.
No, in the same room. She kept getting up to pee all the time. She's like, can I have the bottom bunk? I have to pee a lot at night. And I was like, yeah.
Why? Why do you have to pee so much?
Yeah, sure, you can have bottom bunk.
Do you think she might have been in denial or something?
Probably.
That sucks.
Well, hope she's okay.
I hope so too. Speaking of,
yeah, we just talked about the Beatles. That was it. Not like, what are you gonna name it? Where's the dad?
Name what?
Name what? Dad of what?
Oh God. Okay, so people are wanting to hear stuff about Kevin and Stefan, because who doesn't want to talk about this whole episode is just a barrel of creeps. I'll tell you what. I want to get to the Kanye stuff too, but
Regata Prop says I'm also a Beatles hater. Bow bow bow.
You know, I'm not trying to start a revolution. I'm just, you know, if I do, what am I supposed to say? I can't.
One of their
help
songs, like, we're gonna start a revolution with the Beatles and the revolution.
Yeah, that's their big hit.
That's their big fucking hit.
Yeah, their one hit they have.
People are gonna hate this stream when it goes on YouTube. We're talking about periods, period shits, and hating on the Beatles.
Yeah.
All right, we got more.
We got more.
When you get to the end of the show, you're really gonna fucking hate it.
Oh, if we get to the Kanye stuff, it's gonna be gross.
Okay.
So let's start. We said we want to talk about Stefan next. Do you want to do Stefan or Kevin?
Whatever one leads to that other horrible man.
Ooh, which one?
One with the pastor that was like, "You girls gotta cover yourselves."
Let's talk about Stefan first. There's not a huge update. I follow it really intensely because this case like lives in my head. I hate it so much and it's really upsetting. And I think that it just embodies a lot of the problems that we face in the legal system today and how we treat kids, how we infantilize predators in this way. And Stefan Sterns, just quickly, he was actively essaying his girlfriend's daughter for many years, starting when she was around 8 years old. Right after her 13th birthday, something happened. It's not been revealed. I don't know if we'll ever know, but something happened. She died, and he took her body and hid it. And then the next day, he and the girl's mother basically went to the news saying she was missing. It's still kind of up in the air about, did the mother know? And we found out some things that like make me not even side eye, just pretty much say like, I don't even care if you are more involved in this. You're already complicit because, for example, she would make her daughter and her boyfriend sleep in the same bed together.
All right.
While she was in another room so she can get sleep.
Because she's like, I have anxiety. Let them sleep together. Bitch, fuck you. And then he like factory reset his phone. Remember that? Like we all do on a Tuesday.
Yeah, because, you know, when of course, if a kid goes missing, people in the home are always going to be looked at first.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they're going to check your phone. And he was like, yeah, here's my phone. This is crazy. You know, I was just checking my email this morning and I hit a button. I factory reset it. So this morning. It's so, but guess what? They can still find your shit. If you do a crime that bad, they will put resources into it, and you don't actually delete all of the crap that you had on your phone.
It's still there. And it was her on his phone.
Thousands of files.
It was her on his phone, and she was not very happy in a lot of them. She was an underage girl.
Sometimes she was completely unconscious. I'm not even going to go, I don't want to talk too much about what she went through just because nobody gave that child privacy or respect in her entire life. Just know that Stefan Sterns is like the lowest of low human beings. He's in jail right now. He's awaiting trial right now. They're setting it for October. We'll see if it gets pushed again. But so far, he hasn't shown up in court for any of the pre-stuff. It's just been his lawyer because you don't have to. We learned that with Harmony Montgomery's father not going to any of the court proceedings until he was sentenced because he is a piece of shit coward. And so is Stefan Sterns. He's pathetic. But what I wanted to bring up was, so now that he's in jail, of course, everything that he's doing is being monitored, every conversation he's having, phone call, email. And, you know, when you do that in jail, that's not private. That stuff gets to police. It gets released to the public.
Yeah.
You can't be like discussing stuff really.
He fucked up again, didn't he?
Well, he didn't fuck up, but he's talking to his parents a lot. And we've learned a lot about his parents as well. His mother apparently is not a good person and also by many accounts knew that he was doing these things to other people.
No.
They had found content on his phone like 10 years ago.
Oh, but he's mommy's special boy.
His mother paid off.
We need to
person.
look into boy moms. I mean, if you have a son and you're a mom, You're doing a great job, especially listening to this show. But I personally know of a few boy moms who have known their sons to be active predators and don't give a fuck.
No, you know some very well. So this is not like, oh, it's his mom's fault. The family has a really unhealthy dynamic. She has protected him from himself for a lot of his life, according to many reliable sources, ex-roommates of his, ex-girlfriends of his. One of the victims that he had, Stefan Sterns, when he was 20, had a girlfriend who was 14. The mother knew about it. All kinds of fun stuff. So,
Blanca the Fairest, I'm sure you're a great boy mom. Not all boy moms are like that, but yeah.
No, I think the term boy mom is specific to a kind of person, not a mother of a boy, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's it say? Did you see that? Natalie, did you see that in Illinois, they passed a law that if a parent makes a certain percentage of their income using their kids on social media, the parent has to set up a bank account to put money in it for the kid for their labor. Sick swirl. Yes, this is one of the only states that's had any sort of law pass, it's great. It's not what I think should happen, and I actually think it should become illegal completely to do what they're doing. I am glad that at least Illinois is taking the first step to say, if you are going to exploit your children, you have to at least pay them. Because a lot of parents just don't. They use them and then take all the money because there's no laws, right? So we've covered this quite a bit. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. They do have that law in place now. And there are states who are starting to try to pass these things, but it's going to be very slow. And I don't know how far we're going to get. I hope they will ban certain things from happening. Like, for example, like filming them in their own bathroom, that kind of thing. Filming them without clothes on. That's bath time stuff still is on all the apps. So I hope that happens. But if nothing else, at least the children will not be left with being both exploited and having no money to show for the amount of hours that takes. Family vlogging is a job. It is labor. It takes hours and hours a day to do that. And so it is a job, and they're not being compensated whatsoever.
So what's going on with this piece of shit in prison?
Oh, that guy. So he has had these exchanges with his parents, and the parents' emails are really interesting. And Court TV did a really good job of basically having a person speaking the emails, because it kind of helps you understand it a little bit more when you're hearing it instead of just like reading on paper. So I wanted to play a little bit of that clip.
You don't see the commissary and cannot order anything? I hope that gets resolved quickly. Do you remember your balance? Jail and prison are not meant to be comfortable. All part of the mental punishment, I guess. Stay positive. Talk with your attorneys. I keep thinking about how you would not ever rat out a friend. It really made me mad, and I felt like you valued them over us when you let them get away with stuff. Don't be doing that again. We all know was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not, when this is not all your fault. You need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. When you do that, you're hurting us too. Please, get out of your head over this and start talking with your attorneys. This stuff is serious, and you need to approach it as life and death, which it is. I think of the craziness lived through with various partners, not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for and for you daily. I am thrilled that you are working out again and have a physical outlet for the stress.
Bitch.
I hope you get your coffee and candy straightened out quickly. So far, I haven't seen a cancellation on Congo. Let us know as stuff filters down to you through the system. This origami book is just paperback, no paper, just patterns if I read it right. Well, I'm off to feed the curly ones now. Love, hugs, and prayers, now and every day and night. Mom.
Okay, so this mom is a piece of fucking cunt.
If you really want to go deep into this, the stories about her, like, credible stories about her are pretty bad.
Blaming this girl. She blames the girl. She's like, oh, well, she's had people in and out of the house. You know, I can't imagine. And then blames the mom. Yeah, the mom
Okay,
is.
so the redacted name is believed to be Madeline's mother. So that's who because we don't know, the name got redacted, but
Right.
everyone is assuming that the Stefan's mother is referring to the child's mother, saying like she's involved. Obviously, there's many things to take away from that entire email. But yes, the mother of Stefan, according to Stefan's old roommate, they found content on his phone years, like a decade plus, on the phone, or on his his hard drive on the computer that they shared in the house. And that roommate says that his mother paid off their other roommate to not report it. So she knows.
Can we send her to jail?
Unfortunately not.
Oh my God, fuck you. And like blaming everybody else. And of course the mother of the daughter is compliant, but like he's still got to go to jail. It sounds like she wants everyone else to go to jail. Even like if the girl, bless her heart, if she was around, she should go to jail because she's a harlot.
Well,
And the mother should go to jail. And my sweet little boy,
that is very much the stance she takes.
he was traumatized. He was seduced by this child. He should get all the candy and coffee he wants.
That is how she treats it. And she also was, aware of his behavior for years. He also, Stefan, was caught by his old friend as a teenager filming this teenager friend's mother in the bathroom. He's been like this his whole life.
I feel like all of these crimes are just compile, or what's that word, or whatever, a lot of history of like little bitty things along the way. And then people are like, well, he's just a good old boy. We'll pay him off. He needs his coffee and candy. He didn't mean it. She was a harlot. She seduced him. And then he just keeps thinking, oh, I can get away with it. I can get away with it. Or like, what's the next thing? What's the most salacious thing? And the next thing you know, a little girl is gone.
Yeah.
And then his own mother still fucking blames her.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and if you want to go through, that's just a little snip of the back and forth between them. You can find there's an account, a channel called Gray Hughes Investigates, who I find questionable, but he did actually do an AI version of all of the email exchanges that I thought was really well done, where you can basically, he took Stefan Sterns' voice, made AI, and him speaking his part of the emails and then using like back and forth. So it was basically showing the emails as a conversation. So if you want to go through all of them, it is nauseating, but you can see the dynamic between the family, because Stefan this whole time is talking about how sorry he feels for himself and like how hard it's been, and like he won't talk about the case, but he says stuff like, well, I still have hope that we're going to get past all this nasty business, and I hope I get to come home, and the mom's going like, yes, baby, we're just going to keep praying for you, and like, it's going to be better. Don't worry. He's not getting out of jail, by the way. He's never going to get out of jail. That's not going to happen.
He can't. For the rest of the world, like, we need to be protected.
Yeah, it's really yucky. Czar626, this legit makes me think that the grandparents are heavily involved along with the mom and boyfriend. I don't think that they're involved with their relationship. I think they're involved with their son, especially the mom. The dad seems to be sort of just like an existence in the house. By all accounts that I've ever read, the mother is the one who controls everyone in the house. Again, I'm not saying it's her fault that he did this, but she is complicit in like helping him cover this behavior since he was a child, like literally since like a kid. He's been doing this kind of stuff.
Raising monsters. And I will say, as far as the, we have like 15 minutes left. Should we keep moving?
Yeah. Well, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to move it on to the next story about another piece of shit.
Yeah. We don't want to miss out on the next piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. Let's read some of these.
Lord Oxium, I always think of boy moms as moms who are way too invested in their male child's life. I mean, that is an actual, there's clinical diagnoses of that. It's like emotional incest and all that stuff, that somebody can be too connected to their child. It can go any gender to any gender, really. Yeah. I know that we get a lot of TikTok boy mom kind of criticism, which is understandable, but it can be any gender when you just get too invested and your child becomes like not a pseudo, what's it called? Like a partner.
Partner, fill-in.
Like, yeah, basically a stand-in for their partner, but even if there's no sexual contact between the two of you, they call it emotional incest, essentially.
And basically how it's little girls looked at as objects, not real things. She seduced him. She's evil, wrong, bad, and he's such the outstanding young man, and he's the leader. And it's very prevalent in church. That's why I was raised, and it's prevalent with a lot of these bullshit pastors. I have a clip. Here's this.
Oh, yeah.
Here's this guy. He is a part of a mega church. You're going to see a woman really small on the left-hand side of the screen. She's going to stitch him, but we're going to cut it before the stitch. Just listen to what they say. I don't know. Listen to what they say.
This begins with teaching little girls to sit like a lady, and it extends into the teenage years when the goal should be to adorn themselves in modesty. Every young woman should have a perimeter that she guards. And that is, you can't have the perimeter that you're guarding where you have a sign on the perimeter that says, keep out, and then be dressing in a way that says, come on in. All right? Don't do that. Don't send mixed signals. Because we have been barraged with feminist propaganda, we have come to treat anyone who believes in a woman's moral agency as people who automatically, quote unquote, blame the victim. Two things can be true at the same time. One, that a thief ought not to have gotten into your car and stolen your wallet. And secondly, you shouldn't have left your wallet on the dashboard with $20 bills sticking out of it in a bad part of town. The thief should be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, of course. And all of your friends should still laugh and call you an idiot for leaving your wallet there. And if you try to defend yourself, say to all your friends and say, I frankly think that you're blaming the victim here, they would laugh and say, yeah, we are. Because in this case, the victim is an idiot.
That guy definitely smells like farts.
Yeah, fuck this guy. You're comparing us to a wallet and a car. Every sort of analogy with women and modesty, like the key and lock. You know, a woman is a lock, and a lock that opens up with any key isn't a good lock, or like gum.
I mean, you're just that's just saying she's a pussy hole.
She's a pussy hole. Like, I'm not a lock. I'm not a piece of gum, and I'm not whatever the fuck, a wallet. Like, I'm a human being. I have a soul. I have thoughts. I have feelings. And if you don't understand that, get with it.
I mean, that guy is he's such a dipshit, brain dead loser.
But he just keeps like perpetuating these ideas. I mean, you're right, he is a dipshit loser. Sorry to do this, but perpetuating these, especially the young women who are afraid, because now no matter where I go and what I wear, by the way, modesty never stops. You can wear a skirt to the floor and here, like shirt to your wrist, you could still be assaulted.
And people are assaulted all the time wearing,
all the time. There's a museum exhibit called "What Was I Wearing?"
Yeah,
and it's clothing women were wearing when they were raped, and it's a lot of modest clothes.
Yeah,
and you know what?
You mentioned that there's like baby shoes.
There's baby stuff in there too. So fuck you. I'm not a wallet. Learn to control yourself. You troglodyte, bearded, pedophile Santa Claus.
Yeah, yuck. Gross, that guy. Yeah, it's so maddening when like the most brain dead idiots say stuff like that, because they're just not smart.
They're not smart.
And there's no way to tell them that because they won't understand it.
Well, that's what you say. XR626 says, Rage Drop says, I was taught in school a pair of used shoes. We're just constantly, and that's why, like,
used shoes?
Gross.
I don't even get the metaphor of that.
You wear it once.
The LDS one that is repeated a lot is the chewed gum one, which at least that is also what a labia is called, you know? I don't think they know that, but that is also, they call
a labia chewed gum. Well, this leads to cases like this young girl going missing, and then this poor man who obviously murdered her, who's in jail forever, who took advantage of her, and so somehow she seduced him, and he's the poor man, and she's just a pair of used shoes now. Like, are you listening to yourself?
Yeah, I don't know if they listen to themselves too much. It's that guy sucks. I hate him. I certainly fucking hate him.
I hate his ass.
Yeah, no, that shit sucks. And it is all connected, even though, it's not all church-based. Like with the Stefan Sterns thing, that was a secular family that had the same mentality, though.
Yeah.
The precious baby boy who can't do anything wrong. And like you said, it was let go and let go and let go. And then until a little girl was not only killed, but was literally tortured for most of her life. She was tortured by this piece of fucking trash.
And people look at her like, well, she's chewed gum now. Sorry.
It's
I
disgusting.
understand how mad we get, and that's why we do this show. And I know it's feminist propaganda. We're talking about human life, and I know some people listening to this don't think they're human, but wake the fuck up.
Feminist propaganda is saying we don't think little girls should be
raped
and murdered.
What's your problem?
I guess I'm a feminist propagandist. Yeah, majestically me. If the mother doesn't do any time, I will lose my shit. I agree. I cannot handle the idea that she's not going to face consequences. Alone having, I know there's more, but alone having them sleep together in the same bed all the time and normalizing that to that little girl is insane. That is insane to do. It's hard for me to process somebody who doesn't also know that that's wrong. Like, what's going on there? There's got to be more. I hope that that's the case.
Yeah, she's got to go to jail too.
I want to get to the Kevin Franke statement too.
10 minutes left. Should we get to Kevin or should we get to Yeezy?
You guys want to talk Kanye or Kevin Franke?
Kanye or Kevin Franke. What do we want? Should we do a poll? We'll do a poll.
Which one? Both are gross. Neither of them involve direct murder, so that's good.
That's a surprise. Lightning round. Which one? All right, until the poll ends.
Easy, more like yeesh.
There we go. Natalie's new hour is going up on Netflix next Tuesday, 4/20.
Yeesh.
Check it out.
Yikes. Man, I don't know. I've obviously never met Kanye. I know you think of me as down in the club all the time.
Right.
I've never met Kanye. I've never been in the same room as him. I can't only speak from my feelings, but my opinion is that there's something he like emits dark energy in a way that I'm very worried about what we will know about eventually.
If this is going to be a reckoning, not a reckoning. I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot more news stories coming out in the future. That's just my own speculation. And based off of some of the stuff we see right now that we could talk about if you want, the poll ended. What is it? Kevin Franke. We're talking Kevin Franke.
Okay, we're talking Franke.
Kanye, he's out. He's doing it.
I'll still probably talk about him next week.
Because
it's perplexing what's happening. So Kevin, you guys, has anybody seen his statement that he's made? So on the surface, it's almost positive because he spoke in front of I want to say it was like a hearing. He had a hearing essentially, talking about how he wants child protection laws changed in Utah, but it's not really positive in my opinion. Let's just play the beginning of his actual speech, and then we'll go to the clip of him being interviewed by the newscaster. If we just want to do the actual speech part, just start from the top. We'll do a little bit of that.
It can be.
God, I hate his face. I hate his
I
face.
prepared some remarks, and I've shared those with Representative Watkins, and so I believe if she has not done so already, those remarks can be made available to you upon your request.
Would you make sure you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'll be happy to do that.
It's super low.
Good morning, Representatives. My name is Kevin.
Can you guys hear the volume?
Franke,
It's turned down.
and I am the former husband of convicted child abuser Ruby Franke, and a former client of convicted child abuser Jody.
Did you catch that? I'm the former husband of Ruby Franke.
In July 2022, I was led to believe by Ruby and Jody that I was selfish, narcissistic, enabling to my children, lustful, and a significant danger to my family. I was convinced by those women and others from Jody's organization named Connections with an X that to save my family, I needed to immediately leave my home and family and live in a no-contact separation for an unspecified amount of time. For over 1 year, I remained in complete isolation from all but Jody and some other of the men who participated in Connections, who were in similar situations, I'll add. Since Jody's and Ruby's arrest on August 30th, My children and I have been in the process of reunification. It's been difficult and painful, this process of healing from this trauma and this tragedy. I'm speaking today to you, representatives, on behalf of myself and also my adult daughter, Miss Sherry Franke, who could not be here with us this morning, to share our joint thoughts regarding child welfare laws and the standards for professional licensing in this state.
You can cut it off here.
Ms. Jody.
I noticed he did say my former wife. He's just distancing himself, right? From
which is a big deal. Like, divorce is a huge deal in that world, and the fact that he accentuated that is like pretty hardcore. But so what he was coming in there to say and mention, if you'll notice at the top, he was saying, I'm coming representing myself and my daughter, Sherry. That's the same daughter who he tried to have arrested for taking her siblings' belongings from the home.
Right.
Now he's talking about how they're going through this painful reunification. While I do think that, yes, he was victimized by Regina George, a.k.a. Jody Hildebrandt, I don't know if you caught his demeanor during that. It goes on for 8 minutes if you want to watch the whole thing on your own. But he talks about how he hadn't seen his kids in 12 months. And he was led to believe it was because of these reasons, ABC, and was that Jody's license was not, basically wasn't adequately kept up, and the laws for who can be a therapist and all this stuff are not great right now. He was also going after CPS, and it was partly because people made multiple CPS calls to the house and it was being ignored. But I want to play a little bit of him being interviewed by this newscaster right after he made this plea.
Why did you show up to the Capitol today to talk to lawmakers?
I showed up to the Capitol today to talk to lawmakers because my family has been devastated by what two women were very easily able to carry out in acts of horrific child abuse. And they were able to navigate our laws and take advantage of loopholes that exist, all from the coaching of Miss Jody Hildebrandt. And those laws need to change. All of the ways that they were able to navigate those loopholes need to be exposed. They need to be talked about, and we need to address these issues out in public.
Was it seriously just as easy as just not answering the phone? That's all it took for them to fight this for them?
Yeah, not answer the door, not speak with authorities, DCFS or police, just remain silent. And as long as everybody remains silent, then within a specified amount of days, typically 30, the case closes by itself.
You can cut it off here. I encourage you guys to go listen to that entire interview. But if you heard him say, he has an issue with CPS not being, there's basically, if they don't get any response after a certain amount of days, they kind of just close the case, which of course is not good. And that is correct to an extent. However, what he's not directly saying, and he does get questioned later by the interviewer, is that they were calling him.
Like, wait, they didn't call me enough.
That is literally what he's saying in this this plea that he's making, is saying, why didn't CPS try to stop me more? Why didn't they stop me from doing this?
That's like abusive boyfriend behavior. Like, you never said you loved me enough.
It is. Unfortunately, we're going to use the gaslighting word. He's trying to convince people that while, yes, I do think that there needs to be issues addressed, that it's not his fault that he abandoned his children for 12 months and didn't take any of their calls, because he does say later, he admits, they did call me, I just didn't answer the phone. And why didn't they try harder with me? Why didn't they stop me from doing this to my family? He is such a little man-child, and I hate him. He is complicit in all of this, in my opinion, personally. And he is trying to paint himself as this entire victim in this, when he is And he refuses to acknowledge that the laws and the church that he holds so dear to his chest are a huge part of the reason that this is happening in the first place.
Right.
And that pisses me off. We're out of time, unfortunately, but...
We are out of time. Oh, yeah, should we do the credits first and then the funny video, or what?
Did we get subs today?
We got a few.
Because we got tiers coming up in just a couple minutes. Thank you for the subs tonight, Cabshire, XR626. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
You want to end on a nice thing? Thanks for being with us tonight. We blabbed all the way to the end of the hour.
Blah, 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 blah. But we love it. We love blabbing you guys. We love you. And we're going to peace out with a beautiful a vibe I think is pretty immaculate. I think it's great. I would love to be here.
Yeah, I love her.
It looks so peaceful and fun.
What is that?
I don't know. I have no fucking clue, but it looks pretty great.
I love her. Let's book her for our next party.
Let's book her. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to us. I hope you have a great, wonderful evening. Very peaceful. No violence.
No violence.
No violence.